Hello, my name's Sean and I'm the lead technical design engineer at Rinnai UK. So if we look at education first, I hold a first class master's degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Sheffield, and this actually specialises in renewable energy. So during this year it was looking at the actual modelling of different renewable energy systems to decentralise communities off the national grid. More recently, looking at professional qualifications, F-gas certified and working towards my chartership with IMechE, which I'm hoping to complete over the next year. So I actually joined Rinnai 2 years ago as a design engineer, and since that time my responsibilities actually grew a lot to managing our design department, where I now work as the lead technical design engineer at Rinnai UK. Kind of the key parts of this role are they're kind of split into four. So firstly, we look at the design of different systems, whether this be heating, hot water, cooling and applied systems. We also look at the modelling of systems, and that's using internally developed calculators by our design team, whether we want to forecast different metrics to see how our systems compete in the market. Kind of the third aspect is the actual project management of these heat pump systems, giving ourselves the best chance of success. And finally, the output of SIBSI certified CPDs to showcase the industry what Rinnai can offer. Over the past 2 years that I've been working at Rinnai UK, kind of the main industry changes that I've saw is a huge push for actually the decarbonisation of heating and hot water systems. Something that I think is going to become important in the future is also the pilot release of the net zero carbon building standard by SIBSI. And these kind of new changes allow manufacturers like ourselves to be able to align with them, to be able to meet customer expectations. And one example of this that we've done within our design team is actually not only understanding and being able to forecast operational carbon, but we're now also looking to be able to supply customers with the embodied carbon of our products to allow them to become net zero carbon buildings. From my perspective, the UK is looking to decarbonise the national grid over the next decade, and we're starting to see a lot more new build homes and commercial buildings solely opting for electric utilising components and products. A few years ago, the industry weren't really at the point where we could decarbonise all applications of a building, such as the hot water system. While more recently we're seeing high efficiency, low global warming potential air source heat pumps, instantaneous and also point of use electric water heaters now filling this gap in the market. Some additional changes that we're seeing in the industry is the actual end user opting for a complete heat pump package, because to be able to maximise the efficiency and the operation of a heat pump system, it's best to get your heat pump cylinder, plate heat exchanger and additional ancillaries from a sole manufacturer. Rinnai actually differentiated their portfolio into H1, H2 and H3 solutions, and this was actually in line with UK government's targets for decarbonisation. Going through them one by one, H1 looks at our hydrogen ready and renewable liquid fuel ready water heater systems. H2 looks at our hybrid systems, so it's actually combining our water heaters with a range of different renewable and low carbon technology, whether this be heat pumps, solar thermal, solar PV and electric, while H3 is our all electric systems, and these are predominantly utilising our low global warming potential air source heat pumps, where all of these products are actually supported by a wide range of ancillaries such as our cylinders, plate heat exchangers, valve packs and scale protection, where Rinnai UK is trying to provide a turnkey solution to the end user, taking the pain out of the design process for the consultant and the customer. So at Rinnai, we like to be ahead of the curve regarding our research within both current and future trends in the industry. One way we do this is through the creation of both white papers and SIBSI certified CPDs, which can be presented around the UK at a range of different consultancies, contractor firms, at Rinnai-led focus groups, and also at building industry events such as the SIBSE Technical Symposium. Our goal is to be able to showcase our design capabilities to the industry and continually grow what we can offer the industry. Yeah, so one of my white papers actually looks at value engineering and goes into how the definition of value engineering has changed over time, specifically in the building service industry. And when people hear value engineering, their mind usually goes to how do we reduce costs of this system without actually thinking how the performance is affected. While at Rinnai UK, we try to understand and gather as much information as possible at the beginning of a project, understand both the requirements and constraints of a customer to be able to deliver the highest performance system, which is also in line with a customer's budget. Is actually a project I worked on in Surrey, which was a hot water system for a care home. The current care home's water heater system was using non-condensing water heaters, which had low efficiency, and the end user actually wanted to reduce the carbon production by 20%. They wanted to reduce the annual energy usage as much as possible in line with their capital expenditure budget, and they also let us know that they only had minimal space for heat pumps. Using this information, we was able to supply a range of different hybrid systems to the end user. We was able to actually provide a load of forecasting metrics regarding the operational cost, the carbon production, capital expenditure and annual energy usage, and it allowed them to be at the forefront of that decision making to be able to opt for the best system for them, which didn't sacrifice performance over cost. Yeah, so at Rinnai we also have a white paper which looks at the seasonal performance factor of a range of different domestic hot water applications. And within the industry, a lot of heat pump manufacturers solely use the performance measurements of COP and SCOP when we're trying to understand system performance. And there's kind of a big issue with that, problems which it leads to. And some of these include the fact that the temperature profile to calculate COP and SCOP is based on a temperature profile in Germany. The flow temperature is based on space heating applications, which is either at 35 or 45 degrees. And it also doesn't account for any additional electric utilising components within a system. That's why at Rinnai we like to use SPF, and we have a modelling tool which actually calculates our SPF for a range of different hybrid and heat pump systems. And what this does is it actually uses an accurate temperature profile. It uses a flow temperature and efficiency of a heat pump based upon domestic hot water applications, so for 60 and 65 degrees. And it also outputs a range of different key metrics such as operational cost, carbon production and energy usage, again allowing the customer to have all the information to be able to make the right decision for them. So our SPF modelling tool has actually been used on a range of different projects over the past year. We can use this SPF modelling tool to actually design bespoke systems to have system efficiencies that customers are happy with in line with their particular budget and requirements. One example that jumps out is actually a hotel refurbishment we did in the Northwest, where this particular customer wanted to keep a percentage of the system as gas, but he wanted to actually pre-feed this gas system with heat pump to start their decarbonisation journey. We was able to use our SPF modelling tool to actually design a range of different hybrid systems where it was heat pumps pre-feeding into instantaneous gas systems, having a range of different SPFs throughout this year, and it allowed it to understand how the different key metrics changed with a varying SPF, and this would be our operating costs, our carbon production and annual energy output. This again allows the customer to be at the forefront of the decision making and offer a system that's in line with their requirements. So since joining Rinnai, I've actually worked with SIBSE to get a range of different presentations certified through their panel, and these have actually been presented around the UK at consultancies and contractor firms. More importantly, I've also been accepted for the second year running to present at their technical symposium, which invites industry members to learn about the latest practices, technology and policy. Last year, I actually presented at the technical symposium in Cardiff, going through my SPF presentation, and this year I'm going to be presenting a poster on solar assisted heat pumps in London. majority of new builds currently, as well as refurbished systems, are actually now opting for heat pump systems, as well as a lot of them also opting for solar thermal. This upswing, from my perspective, is matched to the increase in energy efficiency being required by a building, and also particular archetypes actually having a mandate for a proportion of their building's energy coming from renewables. From the ancillary perspective, to actually get the maximum out of your heat pump system and solar thermal system, we want to match as many components as possible to be as compatible as possible with the products we put forward. Therefore, it's always best to get as many products as possible from a sole supplier. Some examples of this is regarding thermal stores. We want to be able to match these to the minimum water content of a heat pump for defrost cycles. When we're looking at plate heat exchangers, we want to bespokely design these to be able to transfer heat based on the maximum capacity of a heat pump in specific conditions. And when we're looking at solar thermal heat dumps, we want to match these to be able to reduce any degradation from the solar tubes. Sign up for our wide range of CPDs. Places are limited, so join today.